Missing children from the Home Office hotels are likely to have been trafficked, a report finds. We're going to read into this exclusive from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from The Guardian with the headline that children are missing from the Home Office hotels are likely to have been trafficked, the report finds. The exclusive reveals that study sparks new calls for a public inquiry into the scandal of missing migrant children from the UK. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share across social media so others are notified of this video. We know that the previous Conservative government had mishandling of migrants, asylum seekers, and obviously the accommodation that they put in, and the accommodation has not been helpful. We know that also in the past that they have tried to dump migrants as well. They denied that, but they have tried to dump migrants as well. We also know that they have lost a lot of children, lost a lot of migrants. I'm not going to say children, but migrants, sorry, adults, especially male ones. We know that they've tried to kind of let them go to try and basically to show that they have cleared the backlog and whatnot, and basically let them out into the UK without kind of anywhere or anything to go and nowhere to go, basically. And when people end up in that situation, they likely end up to be trafficked. Now, obviously, we're talking about children here. This is extremely worrying. We're talking about, regardless of, I know many people feel how much they feel about anger about migrants coming to the UK, taking our jobs and all that rhetoric. Yeah, we're talking about kids here. We're talking about kids. Okay, this is specifically about children here that are falling into hands potentially according to this report, reporting to the hands of dangerous people who will take advantage of these children. And that should be massive alarm bells and should be raising calls for the concerns. And we know that the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has already got a lot on her plate. She's under pressure to get people off the barge, for example, because people don't want that, especially there. We know, obviously, that there's still quite a few numbers coming in across from the rivers are coming in as well. We also know they obviously trying to clear the backlog as well. So this is going to add on top to all of her problems already that they're going to be having in the Home Office. So they're going to have their hands full. But I generally hope that the number is low when it comes to children here. I really, really hope so. So let's read a bit into it, you guys. So, scores of asylum seeker children are still missing from the UK's Home Office hotels. This new report reveals that as many are likely to have been trafficked. The new most recent figures show that 118 unaccompanied children remain unaccounted for, some as young as 12. The study released on Wednesday is the first to conclude that children placed inside the hotels were at increased risk of trafficking. Contracting Home Office claims that the youngsters were not exploited. Expert says the findings reinforce demands for an official inquiry into the national scandal. The report by the University College London, the UCL, and Ecpat UK was commissioned after it was revealed last year that dozens of asylum seeker children were kidnapped by criminal gangs from hotels run by the Home Office. Basic checks to keep youngsters safe were not carried out in a scandal regarded among the most shameful of the last government. Yeah, this is something that wasn't really shouted a lot about in the mainstream media. There wasn't really like massive public outrage simply because they weren't British. If these were British children, these would be on every single mainstream media channel. This would be on every single front page, and this would be screamed everywhere. You wouldn't hear this everywhere. Social media, mainstream media, newspapers, tabloids, YouTubers, you would hear it everywhere. But because they're not British, you're not hearing as much about it. But yeah, it is a national scandal, and yeah, there needs to be a public inquiry because we're talking about kids here. Doesn't matter whether they're British or not. They're kids under our custody, and we should be looking after kids. It's not rocket science, guys. It really is not. The new report details interviews with professionals involved in the care of the children, including a former Home Office hotel worker who knew of 3 trafficking incidents from their hotel. Traffickers contacted the young people and they said via a fake social media account on Facebook, it is not that they are naive, but when in such a bad condition they think, okay, there's a risk that this place is also bad. Researchers also found that the Home Office attempt to protect children actually drove them into the hands of criminals. Hotel staff were instructed to knock on the doors of children every hour throughout the night, especially for nationalists deemed to be at high risk going missing, such as Albanians. Ironically, this was the reason that most kids went missing, said the former Home Office hotel worker. The people who were looking after these kids, the people who were looking after these hotels, who were running these hotels, mixing in with adults and kids. Clearly, there has to be questions about how they looking after these kids, how they're speaking to them, how they're looking after them. Do they even have any qualifications? Do they even know how to manage and look after children? Questions, serious questions here need to be answered. 7 hotels were run by the Home Office to accommodate minors who arrived in the UK after crossing the Channel in small boats. Many from Africa, including Eritrea and Sudan. Such hotels were in operation from 2021 until January 2024, after a High Court ruling deemed them unlawful. In total, 440 children went missing from them, with 144 not found by last November, and 118 still accounted for in March, according to the most recent update. Again, these are kids we're talking about here, guys. The report's lead author and principal investigator, Sonia Abe Carlson, of ULC Department of Risk and Disaster Reduction, said, "This is a national scandal which must not be repeated. It is not clear what attempts have been made to find those who remain missing and make sure that they are safe." Patrice Godard, the chief executive of Ecpat UK, said, "This research confirms our fears and emphasises our need for urgent action to find the missing children, and for a statutory independent inquiry to ensure that child protection scandals never happens again." One social worker told researchers that boys from Albania were very vulnerable, very frightened, and due to a target campaign against them, and concerned they might be sent home imminently. All this talk about Albanians coming here, and we're talking about kids here. Although the hotels for children are now closed, researchers also found significant concern that youngsters seeking asylum were being incorrectly addressed as above 18 and placed in adult hotels where they risk sexual abuse and exploitation. Several child protection experts highlighted safeguarding risks from children and forced to share rooms with traumatized adults. I've had people on my comments trying to say that some of these people are adults trying to pretending that some adults were trying to fake pretending as children, and that's perfectly there is that, but you know, it's not rocket science to tell what looks like a kid and what's not. I understand that some of them do come with no documents, but we have to have some humanity here when it comes to youngsters here, people. We really, really do. We need to ensure that youngsters are well looked after. And we clearly have failed. And clearly, not we, the last Conservative government have failed to do so. Alec Carlson adding, children who are incorrectly determined as adults are deprived of their rights to education, protection and safeguarding. Third, urged the new government to scrap the Catastrophic Illegal Migration Act, which allows the Home Office to directly provide accommodation for unaccompanied children. A Home Office spokesperson said the allegations in this report are extremely serious, unacceptable. Children in the asylum system can be extremely vulnerable, and the welfare and safety should be a central concern. We will consider these findings carefully. A new government is determined to restore order to the asylum system, and that it operates swiftly, firmly, and fairly, and ensures that the rules are properly enforced. Yeah, so they can't, as of the time of this recording, they cannot say much about this. This was quite a while ago, though. This article was back on Wednesday on this one. So it is obviously been a couple of days, obviously. I'm sure, like I've said in other videos regarding Yvette Cooper and the Home Office, I'm sure she will be asked questions about this in committees, and she will be asked questions in Parliament regarding this as well. And obviously, children is obviously a massive issue. I mean, I know it's bad enough. Obviously, when we talk about migrants themselves going missing in the country, we talk about obviously vulnerable women, but we're talking about kids here, people. It's you know, and they are the future. They are future. The next generation, and we should do everything and anything of our can to look after them. And hopefully, the new Home Secretary and his Home Office can get a grip on this situation and find these kids, and hopefully get them out of whatever situations that they may or may not be in. So, guys, what do you make of this story? What do you guys make of the missing children going from the Home Office? Are you guys surprised by this? Does this confirm just how low and scum that the Conservative government really are, just allowing innocent children to go missing? Let me know your thoughts and more in the comments section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. Subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.